Welcome to this episode of Dead Buddy. This is episode 28, and I am the host, Dan Arfin, because I'm the only one who's here. So the World Series of Poker is upon us, and I guess we're about a solid week into it. The 2-5 games so far, at least at the win, have been so-so. Haven't really minded who I've had to deal with, but hasn't been that exciting. Last summer, I remember it being great. I mean, I had the best month I had in years. Just the best World Series I've ever had, I think. Games are good, ran pretty good, played pretty good. You know, all the usual things to win a lot. I was in a game the other night where, everybody was just seemingly relatively competent, but it just seemed like everybody was just looking for value spots too. So this is a good game also, because if you're going to find the bluff spots that no one else is, then you still got a significant edge. There's so many regs who really need the game to be very juicy to make it worth their while, because they're just not going to look for those spots, or they're not going to take them if they see them. They're only going to take them if they're losing. And the invisible floating numbers do not give you credit for that. Anyway, so we'll go over some stories, go over some hand histories. First, I'm going to start with an afternoon game where I raised under the gun, I think 7-handed with 9-8 of hearts. We go 5 ways. Big blind calls, and this is a very fishy player. And just has the typical look of someone coming into the World Series of Poker trying to take on the world, and he's just so dead. Flop comes 9, 5, 6, 2 spades, no hearts, so it's the kind of flop that's, in a way, not good for me, really. Not that good, but in a way also it could be amazing if things break an exact way. This fishy guy who had been losing a little bit, he donks 45 into 4 players. I have a big blind, and there's 5 of us in there. Yeah, $100 in the pot. I raised to $140 just to, knock out a bunch of people, and if I get re-raised by someone else, then you know I'm crushed. Whereas if I call and someone raises, now you're not as sure. It could even make some better hands fold. If someone has top pair with a better kicker or pocket tens, they're not going to be happy seeing this. Folds back to our man, and he jams. I think it was a little over 900 total. And I thought about this for a little while, and it just... The hands I was most worried about was just top pair, because the 5 and 6 were spades. If he has 9x of spades, and if he does, chances are he's got me in really bad shape. 10-9, Jack-9, Queen-9, King-9, Ace-9. That's bad news. But I don't expect him to have a big hand like 2 pair or set. People just, they check raise these hands constantly. If he flopped a hand that he believes is going to be good most of the time, people, they check raise. They don't come out donking very much, and least of all for this size. I was in a spot like this the week before where I'm going to have to go through a big uphill climb to win this hand. My equity is not going to be good, but it's also so likely I felt that my equity is good enough. This hand just kind of has, combo draw, nut flush draw written all over it. We see it so many times from these player types, especially when they're losing. He wasn't losing big, but he was losing just enough where he's ready to go crazy. When I played 10-20 back in the day, if I was down a couple thousand or 3,000, that is when I was at my most vulnerable and likely to make a punt, because I'm not down that much. There's still hope of winning today. If I'm down 5, 6, 7,000, I actually just calm down and start playing good again, because I'm just all right, I'm not going to win today. Let's just try and salvage as much as we can. Now, that should always be the mindset. You should always be just a robot and just try to make good decisions. It doesn't matter what the score is, because this is not winning and losing. This is just decision making. Why do we look at this like winning and losing? It's just try to fucking make the correct decision. The money's going to come to you if you do that. We all know that. Why do we get so caught up in the day-to-day? Anyway, so whatever. I think that having the straight jaw makes this a little more helpful. So I call. And the turn is a spade. 3 spades. Okay, now I'm definitely going to lose. And the river was another spade for good measure. 10 of spades. And he had the ace-8 of spades. For a second, I thought he had ace-9 of spades. And I had called off completely fucked. But I felt much better when I saw that I was at least correct. The previous week, I had so many just close spots where I kept pushing the wrong button and getting the worst miserable result on top of it, that this time I was just glad that I was correct. I would have rather this happened than fold, be shown a bluff, rabbit hunt, and see I would have lost and saved all that money. I would take this because I was correct for once. So, all right, so he wins. And then he says, what did he say? I think he said, you have overpair? And here we are again, people asking what you had right after they win a fucking big pot. It's like they don't understand that this isn't the same experience for you as it is for them. And I know on a lot of these occasions, people just are innocent and naive and just plain foolish for not understanding you should just take the fucking pot and shut up. But it's just, I can't fucking resist it when people say stupid shit like this to me. I mean, it's like, I'm not even mad about what he said. I'm mad that he wasn't smart enough to realize he shouldn't say that. I said to him, I was like, you won the pot. And that's not enough. You have to know what I had too. And he's like, I'm just curious. All right, well, I guess you're just going to have to remain curious. Sorry, life is hard. So I get stuck. And not long after that, our man with the nuts straddles he straddles. I got king, queen of hearts and make it 35 under the gun. This reg who comes in streaks, he calls to my left. He's Indian, he's young. Looks like he knows what he's doing for the most part. I mean, I saw him play some very strange hands pre-flop. But that was as the opening raiser from late position. This is him calling a raise from me in a straddled pot from under the gun 1. So this hand isn't going to be 7-5 offsuit that much. I think a lot of players sometimes make the mistakes that they see players get loose and aggressive in certain spots and then are in a completely different situation and think, oh, well, it's this guy and he did this. But it's like, that was in that situation. What about this situation? Anyway, fishy calls in the big blind, and I flop rather large. Jack 10-4, 2 hearts. So I'm not there yet, but I have a hand where we wish we could just freeze time forever and not have to, not have to stomach the cock tease that we know is going to happen. Especially after you lose that pot before. It's like you're not going to get there this time. You only get there when you're running good. But then things take an immediate shift because fish checks in the straddle, and I bet 65, and now the fish folds out of turn in the straddle. And holy fuck, we are in seats 8, 7, 6. The two fucking guys in the hand with them have their cards right fucking in front of them. You don't know who's in the pot? I mean, these are indications of games being good. It's when you're in a bad game, people don't fuck up like this. I mean, this is just one of the hazards and one of the nuisances of playing with fish. They do stupid shit like this. They're paying so little attention that they don't even fucking know who's in the pot. And then the reg calls, and it completely changes his decision, possibly. This fuck up can potentially alter the direction of this hand in a tremendous manner. So the turn, of course, is good, but maybe it's not good. It's a king. So now I got top pair. I mean, my straight jaw is there, but it's worth a whole lot less now. And there's nothing I can do here except check. And he only bets 90. All right, that's good. Call. And the river is a brick. It's 8. I check. And now he gives us a slight overbet. 425 into 410. And fuck me, it's like I wanted to call because I just lost this big pot, and, we're right in the crosshairs of when you might make a big mistake. We see the guy playing aggressive stuff in other spots. I mean, but this whole small bet on the turn followed by a big bet on the river, it just looks so sneakily planned and suspicious. It seems so well thought out that it's like, what am I beating? I mean, I block hearts. I think jamming's probably better than calling. the more I think about it. So I wanted to do it, but I folded. And a little while later, he asked me, and he's got an Indian accent, which makes it funny. He's like, "What did you fold?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to tell you first." I was like, "Oh, I had a set. You made a good fold." He's like, "What did you have?" I was like, I don't want to say. He's like, "I just told you what I had." I was like, "I didn't ask you to tell me what I had. All I said is like, yeah, I'm going to tell you first." Listen, he was presumptuous. I can see why he would make that assumption, but you should not make that assumption. Fuck that. You should clarify, confirm that I'm going to tell you what I had. I didn't say I'm going to tell you what I had. I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to tell you first." That's not me directly asking, "What did you had?" That's me saying, "Are you fucking kidding me?" It's like, first I fold in this shitty spot that I'm annoyed to be in. I just took a bad beat, and now you're asking, "What did I fold?" and I don't even know what you had? Fuck. So then I was like, all right, you know what? He was being nice and sincere. And you know something I said? Because he told me he had a set, which I believe. And then I said, okay, I had one pair. So I compromised. I didn't tell him every last bit of detail about my hand. I just told him I had one pair because he thought I had two pair. He's asking, he's like, "You have ace king, you have aces." And in fact, I just remembered in the hand I lost to the fish, this flop was 9-7-5 or no, 9-6-5. And he thought that I may have flopped two pair. No, the flop was 9-7-5. I raised under the gun, and when the guy asked me if I had an overpair, the Indian rec said, I think he had two pair. That means I have to open 9-7-5 under the gun. And it's like, you think I opened 9-7 or 7-5 under the gun? I mean, did I just say I opened 9-7-5? Yeah, playing pineapple here. So, all right. That means he thought it's conceivable that 9-7 or 7-5 or maybe even 9-5 was in my under the gun range. I mean, that's a little crazy. I mean, I know 9-8 is just one step ahead, but hey, it's past the borderline in my opinion. So he thinks I had maybe I had a two pair or one pair or over pair. I don't know. I mean, I actually kind of like the way he played his hand, because if he is going to get check raised by a better hand, then it helps him to at least bet smaller. And that makes it tougher for the hands he's targeting to get folds from. So he probably just had fours. And now he's trying to rep a missed bluff, obviously, when he goes this big on the river. But I don't know. It was just suspicious. But point is, I said, I think in the first episode, that sometimes people grow on me for as much as I hate them. I mean, I fucking hated this guy when this conversation started. But by the end of it, I was like, all right, you know what? He's being nice. I'll just fucking say I had one pair. I'm just relieved I made the right fold. I mean, he didn't say that till well after it happened, but all right, tough spot. So in the next hand, I raised 25 under the gun with ace jack of clubs, because fish is in the big blind. He calls, and the flop came 10-9-7 one club, so I got backdoor and not flush draw, inside straight draw. That isn't worth very much because it's a four-liner, two overs. I check, I bet 30, he makes it 85, which was weird. Okay, call. Turn is good, it's a four of clubs, so all right. There's hope now, and he checks, but I don't know. I just didn't think I'd be getting a fold, so I check. And hello, nuts on the river, deuce of clubs. He checks again. All right, well, I could have some bluffs here, so I just try to represent tilt against the fish who just won a big pot. I mean, I just think it's a good spot to try and go nuts. Maybe I went a little too nuts, going 525 into 220. What the hell was it? Yeah, 230. And he looks at my stack. He's like, "How much do you have?" I'm thinking, wait, are you serious? He's like, and he rips. Wow. And okay, we call the nuts. Well, not we, I. Why do people say we when they're giving hand histories? There's no we. It's you. I call. He's got king nine of clubs. Holy shit. I mean, pretty sick run out. I mean, no matter how we play this hand, any of us, I'm going to stack him, because once we see that turn, of course, we're both seeing the river. I didn't taunt him. I didn't say anything obnoxious. I don't fucking retaliate like that. I'm glad I got the fucking money. So, as pissed off as I get at these people, I mean, I may talk some real shit to them and make some real smart-ass remarks, but I'm not going to, do the same thing that they did. I wasn't going to say, I was like, "Thanks for showing me," because I was going to ask what you had if you were going to muck. I mean, it's not fucking, I'm just not going to do that. So I don't remember what even the result on this day was. I probably won a little bit, but okay. We moved to the weekend, and I'm in there again with the big blue whale. And before we get to the hands from this day, at some point he was getting annoyed again that two people were taking a long time to finish a hand, and then one of them started table talking, and then he's like, "Dealer, call the clock. I don't come here. I want to hear you talk. I didn't come here to hear you talk." He's like, "I'm 90 years old. I don't have much time left." And I said to him, I was like, "You told us 4 years ago that you were 97. He's like, "I reduced my age." He's like, "I show you my ID." I'm curious to see his ID, just to see what his ID photo looks like, but I didn't ask to see his ID. It's okay. So Blue and I got into a hand later where I think I raised under the gun with ace-6 suited, and we went to a flop 3 ways. There's a guy called behind me. I didn't flop very much. It was something like jack 3-4. I think we all checked, and then the turn was a 5. I know I turned open-ended. Then maybe Blue bet like 40, and okay, call. River's a 7. Jeez. It's a 4-liner, but he checks, and with the image the blue whale has had of me in these couple of weeks recently, I mean, he's just going to call so big against me so often, even though he's seen me show up with some hands now, because not too long before this game, he cold decked the motherfucking shit out of me. He had a queen high flush, I had a 10 high flush. He's stacking off with so many hands, and he bet small, and I jammed like 6 times the pot. So he's seen me do this now with real hands. But I did it anyway. I bet 5 times the pot. I bet 700 into 140. And he's like, "I want to call you so bad." He's like, he shows a 7 and he folds. He's like, next time. And I don't know if my bet is good or bad. I mean, maybe it's not that great because he wasn't like losing or anything. I mean, if he's a little tilted, he's not folding anything to any size. So that would have been perfect if his state of mind were then. But hearing him say that, like, "Oh, next time," it's like, all right, well, it couldn't have been that bad. So, I mean, maybe if I just bet 400 more than, which is close to 3 times the pot, it's not exactly a small bet. I mean, he may have called that. So it's a little hard right now adjusting to this situation because I've never really been in one quite like this where there is a huge whale that I get to play with who thinks I'm crazy, and I'm going to see him a lot, and he's looking to call me a lot. This has never happened to me in all these years of playing. I've had guys think I'm crazy, but I only see him for a night. This is a guy I plan on battling as much as I can, as often as I see him. So, if betting 700 there is a mistake, it's like, okay, at least it's a mistake that occurring in a spot I'm not really used to, and you're doing it against a player who's making so many blunders anyway, so it's not like you're not going to get another shot at him probably today because he's in there so much. But then at some point during the session, I don't remember because he got into a couple little tips with people. Did he say to me, like, "I will end your life"? I mean, I don't know why. I know he kind of doesn't like me because he knows I'm gunning so hard for him. But at the same time, what does he come to the fucking casino for? It's poker, man. I mean, all you want to do is play and have everyone shut up. So it's like, I'm coming at you. I mean, don't you want to fucking battle? Win or lose? Isn't that what you're coming here for? I don't know. He's not, I mean, he's funny, but he's kind of like, maybe not, he's not such a nice guy. I mean, not just because of the belligerent things he does. It's what I saw him do in another session. I forgot to mention this. He got it all in with queens, pocket queens on king, queen, X. And the other guy had king, queen. King, queen got shown first at the river, at showdown. And he's like, "Nice hand." And he turns over a hand. Pocket queen's better. I mean, he's fucking slow rolls him. I mean, it's like, that's to me 100 times worse than any nasty thing he says to anybody. Most people just give him a break for that, but slow rolling, I mean, some people think it's funny. I know it's common in Macau. At least to Americans it is. They do it to Americans. I know Europeans think it's really funny. They do it to each other. I don't know. I don't think it's that fucking funny. But it's also what I was taught, so that's the way it is. Now the highlight hand of the week. We got a guy, nitty player, who I've played with a handful of times over the last few weeks. Makes it 20 under the gun. Blue whale calls in the middle position. I got the kings. Next action, make it 85. This small blind. cold calls, and the original raiser now 4 bets to 350. Blue folds, and I know small blind's probably folding. He only had about 700 or 800. And I call, and I'm just already thinking, oh no, but it's just like, it's also already feeling like I don't want to do it for some reason. Even though this is a guy who's pretty nitty, and it's like, I don't think he's going to be that white here. I mean, maybe pocket queens, because there's a cold caller, that I can see. So I don't really think folding here is absolutely imperative. But then the flop comes like queen 6-5 or something. So now the one hand I think I expect to be able to beat, is now there. And he bets 500 into, I guess, 780, 790, and he's only got 600 left. And I think with this size, we can rule out pocket queens, but it's like, I'm already feeling so sick with myself about thinking about how I'm going to stack off with this. And I started thinking, I was like, you don't have to stack off with this. Just save the fucking money here. I mean, the last couple of years, I've folded kings pretty numerous times. I was confirmed wrong once a couple months ago, or more like 6 months ago, but I was confirmed right once, and the other ones I feel good about. At one point, I did it twice in a week because I got like 5-bet to a small size after I called 4-bets, and it's like, God, everything just stinks of aces right now. I don't need to stack off here. And I don't know what was coming over me this time, why I just didn't want to get away with it. Even when I set all in, I was just like, I'm all in. I mean, it's like, I know I'm torching, and he calls and he just fucking has aces. And after that hand, I was like, why the fuck did I do that? I mean, it was like, this is just, I've mentioned before, in fact, Mike Zolker, the guy who I had on here last week, he was the guy I mentioned telling once a few months ago. I was like, it's gotten to a point now where, like, if you lose 300 big blinds with kings in a 4-bet pot, whether you get it in pre-flop or post-flop, it's like, it's gotten to a point where this is just kind of turning into a punt. There are going to be situations where you either should go with the kings and it's okay if the guy has aces because he's crazy enough, or if it's just an unknown face and it's like, you just can't afford to be wrong in this spot. You know, what if some brand new player sits down and you get into a spot with him in the first hand where he's going all in pre? I mean, I'm not saying you should be folding kings then. I'm talking about when you have enough information on the guy, like I had here. I mean, I know it's just a missed opportunity to play great, and maybe I should feel good about the fact that, you know, hey, I guess this is like kind of the level I'm at now, where it's like everybody else, well, maybe not everybody, but most people who lose kings here just think cooler, no big deal, they don't even think about it. I do not look at this hand this way. I mean, this is a fucking unacceptable blunder, in my opinion. When it drives me so fucking nuts about it is because this is now the 5th time in the last few years where I was just like so sure the guy had aces, still get 300 big blinds in, they have aces every time, and they win every fucking time. I mean, equity-wise, I mean, it's like, what is it, like $6,000 that you could just have? I mean, this is how people can crush the shit out of this 2-5 game, is by making some of these huge faults, because you gain so much fucking equity here. I don't feel I lost that much equity. I probably didn't lose any equity, at least not to this guy. He's just going to go with it. It's a spot where it's like, oh, aces is the only hand you lose to. But I'm like, yeah, but aces is the only hand that makes any sense. So it's just like, why would he do this with jacks or tens? I mean, best case, he has what? Ace, king of clubs? Where he has an over and nut flush draw? You're not even doing that well against that hand. I mean, it's like, he's not going to have fucking ace queen. He's just not. These players who like think you're aggressive, they're, you know, when they fight back at you, it's because they have something and they're hoping you just level yourself. The only time they're going to fight back and be aggressive is like what I mentioned before, is when they're stuck and they're tilting. That's not strategy. That's you getting desperate. Desperation is not the fucking formula for winning at poker, all right? Do I need to point that out? I know it's the World Series of Poker and, you know, you need to, like, call more in certain spots. You need to stack off with certain hands in certain spots, like I did with the 9-8 of hearts when the flop was 9-7-5. Just make sure that's all clear, because I think I said the flop was 9-6-5 when I first told the hand. But this is a guy I'm familiar with, and I'm like, you know, even when I was trying to get a live read, I mean, I just like, what reason do I have to believe you don't have aces? It's so sick. I mean, this is a sport in the sense, it's not an athletic sport, okay? People who talk about poker being a sport, will you please shut the fuck up? It's not a sport. It's a mental fucking sport. I know there's tons of competition. It's not a sport. Sports are when you do physical things with your body. We're sitting down the whole time. I mean, is reading a book a sport? But it's a sport in the sense that your winning hands are offense and your losing hands are your defense. And, it's a tricky game because sometimes you think you're on offense when you're actually on defense, and the other way around. And folding is the biggest weakness for most players because they don't want to fucking do it because it sucks. Because they're volunteering to lose. I don't want to fold pre-flop for 2 hours in a row someday. You think I want to fucking do that? No. I also don't want to lose money that's unnecessary to lose. That feels even worse. Just accept the boredom sometimes. Another reg said to me at the table recently that, I said to him that the Vegas games are the toughest. He's like, they're the most boring. I said, well, that's what makes them the toughest. You have to make so many fucking folds in crucial spots. You have to throw away so many big hands, and it sucks ass. But if you don't do it, you're just getting exploited so badly in those situations. That's what makes it so tough. As nitty as these players are, they have some strengths. I mean, come on, if they're winning, you can't deny the fact that they have some strengths. And that strengths are, they're not really that punty that often. They usually know how to not overvalue a hand. And they will, be disciplined enough to wait for those big hands. And that's a hell of a lot more than most players can do. So that's what makes it so tough here. I mean, it demands so much discipline. You could say these players are like relatively easy to play against, and I'm not saying they're not, but it's still a lot more difficult than playing against somebody who's loose and all over the place, where there's so many spots where it's okay to just take your chances and stack off. Because you're still making money by doing so. I mean, I've never gone down to Texas to play with these southern boys who just, are really coming to the casino more to gamble. And they're just playing poker in their, gambling. I mean, it's sort of like, let's play, Let It Ride, but implement it to a hold'em table. It's, I know, just from what I hear, there's just these random spastic, no equity bluffs that come out of nowhere. I mean, if somebody ships it on you, overbet ships, and you have a straight and the board has paired, and it's, one of these fucking lunatics, I mean, you just call and you live with whatever he turns over. He's going to turn over something worse than you often enough. In Vegas, though, if you're facing a jam on a paired board and, all you have is straights and you're not playing against some fool, if you call and lose here, this is often going to be really, really bad. So that's all for this week. Not too much to talk about. I'm going out of town Friday to Colorado, catch some Mets baseball in Coors Field against the Colorado Rockies. If you're a baseball fan, have won 3 in a row. They are now 12-50. They won 3 in a row on the road against the Miami Marlins. There are probably more kids at the Discovery Zone at any given birthday party than there were for all 3 of the games combined. But hey, 3 wins is 3 wins. The Rockies have won their first baseball series going back to last year. I don't know how many straight dozens of series they lost, but holy shit. But all right, that's enough baseball talk. And I'll talk to you guys soon. See you next time.